The 2024 election looms large, and with it, the potential for a second Trump presidency. This prospect carries significant implications for U.S. immigration policy. Trump's previous term saw a dramatic shift towards restrictive measures, and his 2024 campaign promises more of the same. The core tenets of his platform remain clear: curtailing legal immigration, bolstering border security, and pursuing aggressive interior enforcement. These proposals have sparked widespread concern among immigrant communities and advocates, who fear a return to policies that separated families and sowed fear. Trump's plans extend beyond simply reducing illegal immigration. He has also called for significant changes to legal immigration pathways, aiming to limit family-based migration and prioritize skills-based systems. This approach, he argues, would protect American jobs and attract the best and brightest to the United States. However, critics counter that such a system would disproportionately favor wealthier immigrants while shutting out those seeking refuge or family reunification. The potential ramifications of these policies are vast and far-reaching. Immigrant communities, already grappling with the legacy of Trump's previous term, face renewed uncertainty and fear. The prospect of mass deportations, increased surveillance, and the erosion of legal protections has cast a long shadow over their lives. The 2024 election, then, represents a pivotal moment for the future of U.S. immigration. The stakes are high, not only for immigrants themselves, but also for the nation as a whole. The outcome of this election will determine the direction of U.S. immigration policy for years to come and shape the very fabric of American society. One of the most alarming aspects of Trump's immigration platform is the potential for mass deportations. His previous administration implemented policies that led to record numbers of deportations, often with devastating consequences for families and communities. Trump has vowed to ramp up these efforts if elected in 2024, promising to deport millions of undocumented immigrants. This rhetoric has instilled fear and panic in immigrant communities, who fear being torn from their homes and loved ones. Trump's plans rely heavily on increasing the capacity and authority of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. He has pledged to hire thousands more ICE agents, expand detention facilities, and expedite the deportation process. These measures, critics argue, would create a deportation force with unprecedented power and limited oversight, raising serious concerns about due process and human rights violations. The potential for mass deportations raises significant logistical and ethical questions. The process of identifying, detaining, and deporting millions of people would be enormously complex and costly. Moreover, the human cost of such an undertaking would be immeasurable, tearing families apart and inflicting lasting trauma on individuals and communities. Despite these concerns, Trump remains committed to his hardline approach, arguing that mass deportation is necessary to deter illegal immigration and protect national security. This stance has drawn sharp criticism from human rights groups and immigration advocates who view it as cruel, impractical, and ultimately ineffective. Trump's immigration agenda also targets temporary protection programs like Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, and Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, known as DACA, which offer reprieve from deportation to vulnerable populations. These programs have provided a lifeline for hundreds of thousands of individuals who fled natural disasters, armed conflict, or persecution in their home countries. However, Trump views these programs as an overreach of executive power and has repeatedly sought to dismantle them. During his previous administration, Trump attempted to end TPS designations for several countries, including El Salvador, Haiti, and Honduras, arguing that the conditions that initially warranted protection no longer existed. These efforts were met with legal challenges and widespread condemnation, with critics pointing out that many TPS beneficiaries have lived in the United States for decades, establishing deep roots and contributing significantly to their communities. Similarly, Trump's attempts to rescind DACA, which protects young immigrants brought to the United States as children, have faced significant legal hurdles. The program, created by executive order under President Obama, has allowed nearly 800,000 individuals to work legally and live without fear of deportation. Its potential termination has left these dreamers in a state of limbo, uncertain about their futures and vulnerable to exploitation. Trump's hostility towards temporary protection programs reflects his broader goal of restricting immigration and reducing the number of undocumented immigrants residing in the United States. However, his actions have sown fear and uncertainty among vulnerable populations while igniting legal battles that could have far-reaching consequences. Section 4. The expanding dragnet of vetting. Trump's immigration plan for 2024 includes significantly expanding the vetting process for those seeking to enter or remain in the United States. He has called for stricter background checks, increased scrutiny of social media activity, and even ideological screenings to weed out potential security threats, and those deemed hostile to American values. These proposals raise serious concerns about privacy violations, discrimination, and the erosion of due process. The use of social media screening in immigration vetting has drawn particular criticism. Critics argue that it is unreliable, prone to bias, and chills free speech. The vast amount of data available on social media platforms makes it difficult to distinguish between genuine threats and harmless expressions of opinion. Moreover, the lack of transparency and clear guidelines surrounding social media vetting creates opportunities for abuse and discriminatory targeting. Beyond social media, Trump has also proposed expanding the scope of background checks to include a wider range of activities and affiliations. This could potentially ensnare individuals based on their political views, religious beliefs, or associations with groups deemed suspect by the government. Such measures, critics argue, would create a climate of fear and self-censorship, discouraging individuals from exercising their First Amendment rights. The expansion of vetting procedures reflects a broader trend towards securitizing immigration and viewing immigrants as potential threats rather than valuable contributors. While proponents argue that these measures are necessary to protect national security, critics counter that they are discriminatory, ineffective, and undermine fundamental American values of fairness and due process. Section 5. Uncertain futures, green card holders in limbo. While much of the focus on Trump's immigration policies centers on undocumented immigrants, legal residents and green card holders are also watching with apprehension. Trump has signaled his intention to create a more restrictive environment for legal immigration, raising concerns about potential new conditions for maintaining residency, increased scrutiny, and even the possibility of denaturalization. One of the key areas of concern is the potential for changes to the requirements for maintaining a green card. Currently, green card holders must demonstrate continuous residence in the United States and avoid certain criminal convictions, among other conditions. However, Trump has suggested that he may seek to impose additional requirements, such as demonstrating financial self-sufficiency or proficiency in English. Furthermore, the Trump administration's increased focus on immigration enforcement has created an atmosphere of anxiety and uncertainty for legal residents, even those with green cards. The expansion of ICE's authority and the erosion of due process protections have made it easier for the government to target individuals for minor infractions or based on unsubstantiated suspicions. The prospect of denaturalization, once a rare occurrence, has also become a growing concern under the Trump administration. The government has stepped up efforts to strip citizenship from naturalized citizens suspected of fraud or misrepresentation during the naturalization process. This has raised fears that even minor errors or omissions on immigration applications could have severe consequences. The uncertainty surrounding Trump's plans for legal immigration has left many green card holders feeling vulnerable and anxious. They worry that their hard-earned legal status could be revoked, or that they could be subjected to increased scrutiny and harassment. This climate of fear and uncertainty undermines the very notion of legal immigration and erodes trust in the system. Section 6. A Nation Divided, the Stakes of Immigration Reform. The debate over immigration policy in the United States is often heated and divisive, reflecting deep-seated disagreements about national identity, economic opportunity, and the very definition of American values. Trump's proposed immigration overhaul for 2024 has only intensified these divisions, pitting those who favor a more restrictive approach against those who advocate for more humane and inclusive policies. At the heart of this debate lie fundamental questions about who should be welcome in the United States and under what conditions. Trump and his supporters argue that stricter immigration controls are necessary to protect national security, preserve American jobs, and maintain cultural cohesion. They believe that reducing immigration, both legal and illegal, is essential for safeguarding American interests. On the other side of the debate are those who view immigrants as a vital source of economic and cultural enrichment. They argue that the United States has always been a nation of immigrants and that embracing diversity is essential for its continued success. They point to the significant contributions that immigrants make to the economy, workforce, and cultural tapestry of the nation. The stakes of this debate are high, not only for the millions of immigrants who call the United States home, but also for the future direction of the nation. The outcome of the 2024 election will likely determine the course of U.S. immigration policy for years to come, shaping the lives of countless individuals and families while influencing the nation's global standing. As the debate rages on, it is essential to engage in thoughtful, informed discussions that recognize the complexities of immigration and its profound impact on American society.